know, more business today. More business today on KHTS. Thank you so much. I get your emails. I get your texts. I get everything from you. I'm so honored that you like the show. We call it The Business of Life. I'm your coach, Coach Ron Tunick. So today we are going to talk about sports all day long on The Business of Life. We talk about sports. In the studio, got some pretty famous people. I've got the head football coach, Les Robinson, over at Trinity, and I've got his staff here. So we're going to do some little inspirational stuff. We're going to talk about April 2nd. Put that date down, April 2nd. So if you've got a kid that is interested in football, playing high school football, maybe junior high football, loves football, they're going to have a camp at the Heritage Park over there in Valencia on April 2nd from 9. I may show up to this thing, Les. I'm thinking about showing up.
Love to have you.
I've got some eligibility left. I was asked to leave high school, so I think I've got a year left somewhere.
Come on down.
April 2nd, 9 a.m. to 3:30. We'll be talking about it all through the hour. What age group do you prefer to come out?
Any age between 6 and 18.
6 and 18. And so for like the young people that are 6 to 8 or 9, you're going to have the type of coach that would work with these young people. Now, my wife says I've got the mentality of a 9-year-old, so I will be in that group.
Okay, we have it broken down in four categories. There's the junior champs division, which is from 6 to 11.
I'll be in that.
There's the champs division, which is from 12 to 14, and then the varsity division, which is from 15 to 18.
Oh, very cool. So we'll talk a lot about the football. You're calling it the Football Combine and Clinic. It's April 2nd. Just put that date, April 2nd, 9 a.m. to 3:30. Also in the studio, I'm like a kid in a candy shop because I wanted to play big time. Well, I played college football and I played college baseball, but I did not play in the pros. But we do have an ex-pro here with the San Diego Chargers, Cletus Gordon. Cletus, welcome to KHTS 1220 AM right here in Southern California. Hundreds of thousands of people are now listening to your voice. Say hi to everybody.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Yeah, what an honor to have you in the studio. Is it Go Chargers or what's your favorite pro team now? Be honest. If you're going to go to heaven and get in the VIP line, you got to be honest.
It has to be the Chargers.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I tried to be a Charger fan, but I have a problem with the ownership. But we don't have to get into that. And then Fred Lewis, you can say hi too. You are the defensive coordinator with the Trinity Academy, right?
Hello. Thanks for.
And you guys are going to 11-man football.
Last year we did. We already made the transitions.
Right. And then we have the sports reporter here who doesn't want to talk. Do you want to say hi to anybody, sports reporter? Now, what do you do?
I'm just excited.
I'm
excited to have these guys in studio.
Isn't it exciting?
Me, yeah.
Finally to do a sports show, right?
Yeah, it's about time.
Now, what as a sports reporter, Justin, I didn't even know you did that. What do you do?
Well, I write up all the daily reports about, the scores from the previous days' games. I interview coaches, which I'm excited to do this year with Coach Les Robinson. And I try to get interviews with players as well and profile them. Profile guys like Ian Cadow from Trinity, things like that. Caden Cole, hopefully this year. I'm going to do a profile on Nick Jones, who went to Valencia, who's playing for the Canyons Cougars, just to highlight, the stars in our area that are coming up.
And maybe you don't know, but we're going to be starting a sports show pretty soon, but we'll talk about that maybe next week. All right, so April 2nd. Let me keep saying the date. April 2nd, April 2nd, April 2nd, 9 a.m. to 3:30 at Heritage Park. So let's get into the show a little bit. So, Les, you are the head football coach, Les Robinson. Good name is that your real name? Because that's a good name to be a head football coach, huh?
It's
a famous name.
It's a shortage of my real name.
Leslie is your real
Lester.
name? Lester is your real name. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sacramento, California, in a community called Oak Park. I don't know if you call it a community, but...
Socially, economically deprived. How's that? Can I say that? Terribly so.
Extremely deprived.
And I, as a kid, grew up in Carmichael, so I know all about it. So how does a kid from a rough background, a rough start, first of all, you also do something else besides coach football, and what is that?
I'm the Director of Ministry for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in the Santa Clarita Valley.
That's terrific. I just, so after every game, you guys get in the middle of the field, hold hands, and thank God for health and wealth.
Yes, we
and
do,
everything
Coach.
else.
That's
So
one of the things we do.
when did you find Christ?
I found Christ officially, really, in 1973 at a Fellowship of Christian Athletes camp in Ashland, Oregon, on the other side of the border.
Well, I know Ashland, Oregon.
Yeah, it was an awesome camp. The mainline speaker was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, and my counselor for the week was the famous Jeff Seaman, ex-middle linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. So at the age of 15, a very impressionable age, those two gentlemen really changed my life and gave me a larger vision than I had for my life, and just changed my the whole trajectory of my life.
Now, I grew up in Thousand Oaks and did most of my adult life in business there. So I was involved in what's called the Dallas Cowboy Leaders Club, and
Right.
I was very active with the Dallas Cowboys. I belonged to a country club, Tex Schramm,
Right.
and I would play. Dan Reeves, Tex Schramm, and Mike Ditka would play
Yes.
golf. So there's stories there I can't tell on the air.
Yeah.
How at 15 though do you find Southern Oregon State? Because you were a good athlete in school?
Yes, sir. I was at the time I was running at Sacramento High School, played under Dave Hotel, and traditionally our school is known for turning out lots of pro baseball players and football players. One of our latest real stars in basketball is KJ, everybody call him Kevin Johnson, who is now the mayor of Sacramento.
Yeah.
We grew up together, and
Wow.
I'm a couple
now,
years
can you
older
call
than him.
Kevin up and
Oh, I can get a hold of him.
Yeah.
And no problem. I know his whole family, know his mother.
I might want some
family, and so
cheap
forth.
rooms up there. You can help me with or something.
No, but good people. My high school was in basically the ghetto, really rough.
Oh, I know.
And I'm the oldest of 6 children without a father. And
I grew up with no father either.
right.
I was a foster kid.
So my coaches kind of were my fathers.
Me
They
too.
didn't know it.
Me
And
too.
My coach identified me as one of his next stars. At that time, my junior year, I was running a 4.540. Was already a state meet finalist in the 100 and 200. And
What was your 100 time?
my fastest high school time was 10.6.
Wow, my fast is 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Come on, Coach.
Come on. I was slower than molasses, man.
But he identified me as one of his stars, and he had a tradition where he would send his next group of stars to what we thought was a football camp.
Right.
And so he put me on a bus and shipped me off to Ashland, Oregon. And that morning was the first time I saw snow. And get off the bus, and they hand us this packet of information, and in that packet was a Bible. And the first thing I'm thinking is, oh no, I'm at a Christian camp. I thought I was going to a football camp.
Right.
But it was a football camp. It was an athletic camp sponsored by FCA. And at that camp, I met Tom Landry, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He was a fantastic speaker and supporter of FCA. And then I was able to train and work out and become familiar with and get close to a guy named Jeff Seaman, who was the starting middle linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings at that time. And my head was all over the place. I was at a place in my life, a fork in the road, where the next decisions that I were about to make would have a drastic impact on the trajectory of my life. And I had some bad things going on inside me,
I bet.
some bad options, like,
Drugs, rock and roll.
drugs, selling drugs,
Yeah.
pimping women. There were guys
Yeah.
on my football team, 15, 16 years old, had girls on the street in downtown Sacramento. They were full-blown drug dealers, 45 automatics, going to school every day. These are guys I play football with on my team. Good guys, but this is the way they chose to survive and make a living. And in that neighborhood, Oak Park, you know a little bit about
Yeah, I
it.
do.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And
I grew up in East L.A. I literally fought my way out of East L.A.
You probably had
I
to.
did. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
But it was at FCA camp there in Ashland, Oregon, that I made a commitment to God because of those two outstanding gentlemen. And that's why I serve FCA today, because I know the massive impact that it can have on one's life. I am proof of FCA and what God can do to one or through someone because of that ministry, and I'm forever grateful.
Well, this community is blessed to have you, and Trinity, I know, is blessed to have you. And what a story! I want to get back to your story in a couple of minutes. I want to introduce Cletus to our audience here in Southern California. It's KHTA. You're listening to the show called The Business Life. You know, every day we talk about something. The other day we were talking about inspirational stuff. Last week I was talking about politics. Today it's all about sports and football. April 2nd, 9 a.m. to 3:30. If you've got a son or daughter, you're going to take some nice ladies, and they're age 6 to 18 or age 6 to 80 like me. Let's get them out there, and there's gonna be all pros out there. Delano Howell, who went to Hart, right?
He's
Played
a part
for the
of our
Indianapolis Colts. Cletus, who we're going to talk to in a minute, played for the San Diego Chargers. Chris Ricks, now I know that name from Florida State, quarterback.
Right, he played at Bishop Amat in high school.
Wow. And then Tyrone Gross, who played also for the Chargers. So you got real NFL. They know. I mean, they know the game of football. You may not know it, but they know it.
Oh, I know some too.
You do?
I had a little spell with the Raiders back in '79.
Yeah. Raiders are coming back, man.
Oh, yeah.
Raiders are coming back. They got a good football team.
Great nucleus.
So Cletus Gordon, welcome to KHTS. Welcome to Southern California. And I'm like a kid in a candy shop. To meet you and to talk about the NFL and talk about your life a little bit. So you grew up in Louisiana.
Amy, Louisiana.
You got that nice little accent, man. Huh? You got that nice.
I get that all
You're
the
meant
time.
for radio, brother. So. Talk to me about your life as a young man. Did you struggle?
Yes, definitely. I came from a single parent home. And it was four of us. It was my mom and just,
Is your mom still alive?
Yeah, she's still alive.
And can you have her listen to call her tonight? Have her go to hometown station after about 6 o'clock. She can listen to you on radio.
Okay, definitely.
There's a podcast there. It'll be under Coach RT. But keep going. So you grew up in a single family home.
Single family home. It was. I have three siblings: older brother, two younger sisters. We kind of. My mom. She kind of we kind of bounced around from home to home, living with different family members, and it was.
And you remember all this?
Oh yeah, definitely, like it was yesterday.
Did this? I had a chip on my shoulder because the way I was raised, similar to both of you. Did you have a chip on your shoulder?
Definitely, the circumstances and just seeing how hard my mom worked to provide for us. It kind of made me want to do something for her and. That was my motivation.
And that chip works both ways, doesn't it, Coach Les?
Yes, it does.
You can go one way or you can go the other way. And our three of our stories are similar in that our coaches kind of saved our lives. My baseball coach, Ray O'Connor, and my football coach, Hal Lambert, back in the day, they would hit us. You'd grab your ankles and they would swat you. So I learned how to say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And
Yes, sir.
I learned discipline, and we'll talk about that a little bit later because it's lacking. So Cletus Gordon, wonderful guest, played with the San Diego Chargers. Also, he's going to be there at April 2nd at the Football and Combine Clinic, and it's put on by, it's going to be at Heritage Park. Is it put on by Trinity? Is Trinity one of the sponsors?
Yes, Trinity is the main sponsor, but we're also sponsored by Champions Training, which is a training organization headed by Chris Ricks, and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, of course, and then Chick-fil-A is a major sponsor, and also Avocare.
Wow, I know Avocare. So back to you, Cletus Gordon. So you go to high school. Did you know you were a good athlete?
Yes, at least in my head, I did. I had a lot of doubters around me, because I was small and I wasn't the fastest.
You're not small now.
I wasn't the fastest nor the biggest, so. Yeah, I always believed I was a pretty good athlete.
How did you get into Jackson State? Grades, athletic achievement?
Just to go along with what I just said is my rival high school coach actually had a connection to Jackson State, and that's how I got started getting recruited by Jackson State because I had junior colleges and state schools looking at me in Louisiana, and I didn't want to go to. I kind of wanted to get out the state,
Did you learn anything in college? I'm curious.
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you what you learned. I challenge education all the time. I just think our educational system is broken. I wish we had many more forms of alternative education, because not everybody learns the same way. And if you don't come, from the right circumstances, man, it's hard. I was one of these kids that just stared out the window. I didn't understand what school was out about. I had no mentoring. In the 6th grade, I went to 5 schools. 5 schools in the 6th grade. I'm here for 6 months here, 6 months here, 3 months here. I mean, I'm passed around like a football. So, but I see your life, all of your lives, and Fred Lewis is here. You can talk when you want to talk. You can just jump in anytime you want, Coach Fred. But it's so important, athletics. If people understood, get your kid out of the house. I don't care whether it's football, basketball. I don't care what it is. You've got to get your kid into athletics, because you learn how to deal with people. I'm sure, Cletus, right?
Definitely. It's sports is a lot like life, So
You got to get along.
Definitely got to learn how to work with people and communicate, and all those things that relate to life. So,
but isn't accountability? You were a college player and a pro player, but you learned accountability as a young age. Like, you better show up for practice on time, right?
Definitely.
And give everything you have.
Definitely.
Where in life, other than sports, where do you learn this stuff? Anybody could jump in. Where?
Hopefully it's at home.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, in California, where the divorce rate's over 60%, these parents are. I'm at a restaurant last night at 2 tables, and my wife, elbows me. She said, "Look over there." She says, "That young lady with a couple of kids wasn't even paying attention to her kids. She was on her phone the whole time. Her 2 kids, not even talking to her 2 kids.
Wow.
Kids are being raised by technology. The parents are preoccupied with their lives, and I'm worried about our future generation. And not to get morbid, but people are turning away from Christ. They're turning away from faith. And we've got to find a way to save souls. And I think we can start with athletics, really. It's that simple, don't you think?
Definitely. I agree with that. Sports is, there's a saying that coaches affect more lives than anyone. So
absolutely, more lives than a candy store.
Exactly,
that's for sure.
Definitely. So I believe that just having your kids involved and around good coaches, coaches that can
good character
help
coaches.
build definitely help build character, discipline, and all those things that kind of translate to having a successful life. So
that's the voice of Cletus Gordon, ex-San Diego Chargers. Now, I imagine you're the offensive coach over at Trinity. Do you do offense?
No, I defense. I train. I coach defensive backs, corners, and safeties. Fred, Coach Lewis, is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. All right. So back to our head coach, Les Robinson, and we're talking about April 2nd. That's why I'm pitching April 2nd. If you've got a kid that is interested in football or playing football and wants to get exposed to gentlemen that have not only a great heart and a great mind, but they actually know the sport of football because they played it at the highest level. They played in the NFL, so they know all the tricks of the trade. When they get there, how many coaches per kids are you going to have, you think?
Right now we have from 15 to 20 coaches. And,
wow.
We have about 40 or 45 kids already registered, so there'll be plenty of coaches. There'll be a great ratio of coach per child.
Perfect.
And all of them, all the coaches that are working have an FCA background. So all of these coaches are coaches of high character, high value, moral character, and they're going to be working with these children, and they're going to see good, strong, accountable, integral men who won't curse at the kids. And we don't curse at kids. We don't talk down to kids. It's all about encouraging and uplifting these kids and allowing them to see themselves bigger than they actually are. We're givers of hope. That's what we believe. We believe in installing hope, and we want every kid that comes to that camp and that combine to leave with a great hope that they can be great and they can have success.
Well, I
play.
hope it's really successful. I'm going to be pitching it all week because
Thank you.
just what you said, Coach Robinson, this is what our society needs. This
Yes.
is what our society needs. Your kid doesn't have to be a star like you guys were, but they're going to get exposed to ideas that they probably don't get at home. They're going to get exposed to discipline they may not get at home. They're going to get exposed to fellowship that they may not get at home.
Right.
So if you're a grandparent out there, circle April 2nd and get your grandkid out there. You think you have a lot of girls out there? You got a few, maybe, huh?
We should have a few. It'll be exciting to see. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and you'll get the high school players out there. Can college kids come too?
It's only to 18, 6 to 18. Well, if college players want to come out and assist and help, and we'd love to have them.
Yeah, and we're going to go through drills, obviously.
For sure.
A lot of drills. And
The morning will be combine. We'll teach combine events. So
like
that,
a real combine.
Right, so that they can secure marks and times, and then in the afternoon we'll be focused on skills and techniques of each football position: offensive linemen, defensive linemen, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, defensive backs.
Now, I grew up with John Wooden, so in Thousand Oaks, John was out there. Sparky Anderson was a dear friend of mine. I used to put on his golf tournaments, and he lived right across the street from Kalu. And he was very close friends with John Wooden. So John Wooden come out, I got a chance to talk to him, read all of his books. And John Wooden talked about task and technique. So many times he would share how UCLA 10 national championships. So he had his players focusing in on accomplishing the task, but before you get the task accomplished, you've got to have perfect techniques.
Exactly.
So he wanted his players to be in better shape at the end of the game. He wanted them to make the free throws, and so all you coaches understand that if you practice the right things, people ask me all the time, why do I talk about it? Because as an ex-football player myself, I was a tight end. We ran something called the 42-0 sweep, where I had a block down on the tackle. And maybe in practice we'd run it 40 times. So during the course of the game, when they called that play, I wasn't thinking about it. I was already trained. And you guys understand that. Well, we need to do this with young people.
Right.
They need to be around leaders like you guys. They need to hear what you have to say about life. And we'll talk about life. We're going to come back here after a break and talk about life and talk about these young men who are now in our community. Les Robinson is the head football coach at Trinity Classical Academy. That's quite a name, Trinity Classical Academy. And Cletus Gordon, who played with the San Diego Chargers, and Fred Lewis hasn't said a word yet, but I'll get him to talk.
Maybe.
I want to hear how you guys got out of the mess that you were born, the three of us were born in. How did you go from that to where you are today? Successful human beings, giving your heart, your mind, and soul to making this a better community, making Santa Clarita and Southern California better. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. The show is called The Business Life. This is my flagship station. I'm heard all over the country on hometownstation.com. Go to hometownstation.com. We also have an app, the best radio app. You guys need to download this in your iPhones or Droids. Best radio app in the country. Go to the App Store and download KHTS 1220 AM pop up. Then you can listen to my show anytime you want. And then we have podcast at hometownstation.com. We'll be right back with these great men of our community. Don't forget April 2nd. Just circle and I'll tell you about it when we get back.